Weetabix. If you know what's good for you, okay. Yes, Weetabix, the breakfast cereal, still available today, not to be confused with Weetabix, I believe is an American breakfast cereal. But in the early 80s, the Weetabix had cartoon characters advertising them, or each of them with different characters promoting the wheaty goodness of the breakfast cereal. And a computer game was produced for the Spectrum, Amstrad, Commodore 64, BBC Micro, and the Dragon. Don't have a Dragon, so we're not going to look at that version, but going to look at the other versions. Starting off on the BBC Micro, the game was available with a discount if you were a member of the Weetabix Club, surely the club all the kids would want to be a member of, for $2.75, or if you bought it at retail it was $3.75. So you are Dunk, one of the Weetabix, and you have to shoot the Titchies who want to steal your Weetabix. If you press up, this hat thing appears above you that shields you from the enemy bullets. And then you have to pick up the rocket and shoot it, and then when you've shot it, you go and pick up another rocket. It's Space Invaders with Titchies, well, Space Invaders / Galaxians, kind of, with the Titchies flying around. There's 14 Titchies to shoot, and the audio is some of the worst I've ever heard on the BBC Micro. I had to put a piece of gaffer tape over the speaker because it just goes on and on and on, incredibly loud volume, and that even the gaff tape over the speaker on my BBC Master really didn't help. It is consistent beeping. Imagine giving this game to your kids and then having a computer with no volume control, and this just going on and on and on. Your energy level is on the left-hand side. You only have one life, but you have Neat Wheat energy, which is slowly depleted as the level goes on, although as levels progress, it goes down faster, and when you get hit, the Neat Wheat energy goes down as well. The animation sound isn't particularly good, but Dunk's eyes do move from left to right as you move. Shoot the last alien, and there we go. Dunk has filled up with Neat Wheat energy. And this is something, Neat Wheat is something they mention in the adverts around the time. Press fire to start the next Titchy attack. Great. Level 2. It's going to be different. Perhaps a different enemy layout. Different screens. Who knows? And your Neat Wheat energy charges up. But no, it's exactly the same as level 1. Except a little bit faster. And that's it really. Start off with 14 Titchies again. And your energy goes down a little bit faster. Over to the Commodore 64, where the Titchies really are Titchy. Still 14, though I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 14, yeah, 14 Titchies, but they're much smaller and therefore harder to shoot. The animation on Dunk and the Titchies is far better, but then it should be. The Commodore 64 has sprites. There's very nice motion as he turns around to shoot the Titchies, but they're even harder to shoot than before because they are Titchy. The audio is... Remember that problem I had with Rick the Roadie complaining of the random noise audio the game passed off as sound effects? Yeah, when Dunk moves around, you've got exactly the same thing, just random noises as opposed to proper sound effects. And on this version, if you go over the far left-hand side, you can't get over quite as fast as the Titchy, so you can't hit them when they're coming down there on the left past your Neat Wheat energy because they're so small. Animation's far better, but that's about all you can say on the C64 version. If you think there might be a natty tune or a little bit more variation because you've got a bit more memory than the BBC Micro, no, it's not particularly good. We're on level 2 now, and yes, as with the BBC Micro version, it gets a little bit faster. I have to say, the C64 version is the most difficult version of the lot, or the least forgiving, mainly due to the small size of the Titchies, but they're the bullets staying at the same kind of size. So on level 5 now, it's getting pretty frantic. As you can see, I probably won't complete this level. Titchies are really hard to hit. And is it me, or when I put my protective hat thing up, does the energy still go down anyway? I'm not sure. That's it. That's game over on the C64. Over to the Amstrad CPC. This game by Romik Software, by the way, who produced Atom Smasher Amsoft and a number of other extremely high quality games, shall we say. So that's copyright 1984. Here we are on the Amstrad version, colourful graphics. And here comes Dunk, the Weetabix with eyes. Apparently the rockets are passed up by your Weetabix mates, who you never, ever see. The thing that strikes you about this game is it seems to be the quickest game... Oh, I like the explosions on the Amstrad. This seems to be the quickest way to do a game possible. They could have leveraged all that kind of stuff from the TV adverts with all the different characters. But no, here we are. It's one character and we've got an incredibly slow Space Invaders games. And on the Amstrad version, you are effectively shooting blocks with little flying wings. And that's it. I'm not sure it's ever fully explained what the Titchies want with your Weetabix, or why you're firing the rockets at them. They want to take your neat wheat energy or something. You don't get the animation when Dunk fires on this version as opposed to the C64 version either. It's nice and colourful. It's very, very slow, however. Although this is level 7 now, the Amstrad version is also ludicrously easy. Run out of energy there, but you will probably give up before you run out of energy because the game's so boring. And it's relatively easy in the Amstrad as well. Straight through to level 7, no problem. This is basic. You can clearly see that's a kind of standard basic drawing routine there at the end that you get in the Amstrad CPC manual. Enter your name into the high score table. And there we go, system font, and yeah, that reeks of a screen probably coded in basic. It's like a fancy typing game, that's all it is. The Weetabix versus the Titchies, a computer game for the Sinclair Spectrum. That's slightly overselling the concept, but it's pretty much the same here on the spec in terms of layout. 14 Titchies, it's all the same. We can say that they're consistent between all the versions. And yeah, on the Specky, you've got the same annoying sound effect problem you have on the BBC, except at least on the Specky, the speaker isn't as loud as the BBC version, so you won't be quite as irritated by the audio. And on a Plus machine like this, you can just turn the volume down. But there isn't an awful lot here. Even for a cheap game, you're getting via the back of a packet of breakfast cereal for $2.75. It's not... I suppose budget games in 1984 weren't that high quality, so can't complain too much though. This is level 5 on the Spectrum, and the Spectrum version does also suffer from the easiness problem the Amstrad version has, although thanks to the speed it is in fact more playable, and once you start to get up to level 5 and beyond, there is a little bit of a challenge here because of the faster speed. But the enemy patterns are always the same. They always go the same way. They either go left down the left-hand side or they go around another kind of circle pattern. There's about, I think there's 3 patterns in all the aliens follow, so there's not much to it. Weetabix versus the Titchies represents a bit of a lost opportunity for Romik Software. There was a lot of advertising for Weetabix at the time on the TV, and they could have leveraged all that goodwill and kids' knowledge of the Weetabix characters and use that and put it into a game, but instead we just got basically a cheap Space Invaders clone with a little bit of Galaxians thrown in, but not much. There's one level. It just gets faster every time. No more variation than that. Yes, effectively it's a budget game, kind of, although $3.75 is a lot more than $1.99 for a budget game, I guess, but well, what kind of games were out there? It's almost getting off a full price $5.95 games that were the de rigueur at the time. So yeah, there's not much here. The one thing you can say it's got going for it is that it's consistent between the systems, but in terms of gameplay, no, there's absolutely nothing there. I think you would be pretty disappointed if you'd sent away for this in 1984 and got this back several weeks later via the post. Shame really, because as I say, lots of stuff to leverage there, but at the end of the day, Weetabix versus the Titchies is just a rather poor Space Invaders clone.